pop that QR code. Okay, it's staying there. It's not like the Super Bowl where you have to run around. Please welcome Elie Le Rest.
Nice to meet you all today. So I'm Eli, CEO of Colony and founder. It's a pleasure to meet you all here today. We've been working hard on Colony for the past year or so, and it's amazing to meet everyone in real life today during this event. So today I'm going to talk about Colony. I'm going to introduce you to what we're doing, why it's important for us to do so, and I'm going to talk about our new early stage features and our new partnership with Future Finance about the index. So we're pretty excited about it. So yeah, Colony, what we're doing. So we are an accelerator focusing only on Avalanche, and we are transitioning that into an inclusive DAO to enable community members of the Avalanche ecosystem through our application to access the deal flow in Avalanche, to be able to access basically the growth of the entire ecosystem. So we already live. It's been 3 months. Seems like it's been like 3 years. We already have like 15,000 people, stacking inside Colony. In 3 months, we already invested in like 15 projects, deploying $2 million, and we made some great investment for our community, including, for example, Platypus, which is now $1 billion TPL protocol on Avalanche. So pretty happy about all of that. But this is not only the only thing that we're doing. We are also providing liquidity to early stage protocols and to well-established protocols to maximize yield. On that, for example, there is time-to-finality coming up next week on Avalanche. Pretty innovative protocol. We're going to deploy liquidity there, and our community is going to benefit from that fair launch, for example. We are also building an index. The idea of that index is to access basically the growth of the biggest market cap inside of Avalanche. Passively, you have nothing to do, and you have the yield-bearing mechanism of all of those assets through one token, and I'll tell you more about it shortly. We also have like a validator program, which is pretty interesting, especially in Avalanche. So far we are going to deploy that to market pretty soon. We essentially buy and stake AVAX. The staking rewards are coming back to our staking contract, so people stacking CLY will receive AVAX. Then we are working with a lot of protocol at early stage, so we are able to build position there. And then when they want to switch to subnets, we will also be able to validate those subnets and to bring our community, which is 15,000 people now, and it's actually growing pretty fast. And so we're pretty excited about it. So that's roughly what Colony does. And now I'm going to talk to you about the early stage feature. So the early stage feature, right now, is pretty simple. You buy CLY on centralized exchange or centralized exchanges, and then you stake them inside our staking contract. And you receive airdrops of all the projects we invested in early stage. So we invest in seed and private sale. So it enables the community to access those tokens early. It enables also all those projects to actually decentralize their capital. Because you don't have like one investor in your seed round. Among others, you have like 15,000 people actually. So from a risk mitigation standpoint, it's very useful for funders, and it's also great for the community to have access to those deals very early. So right now, the way it works is only through airdrop mechanism, and we are making that, we are evolving that model into something that's like where the community can actually participate in those deals. So everyone stacking CLY will soon have access to all the deal flow inside the Avalanche ecosystem. So we have a huge deal flow at Colony, and we're going to display that on the application. People will be able to register projects directly on the application. So what will happen is that you will have all those projects. You'll be able to upvote the project that you like, and highly upvoted projects will then be able to actually have a nest open. So a nest is like a pool, and people will be able to put ants. So ants is a new token. I'll tell you more about it. Ants token inside that pool. So as you have CLY stacked inside our staking contract, there will be like an LP token for ants representing your CLY inside the staking contract. And you'll be able to use those tokens, those ant tokens, to actually register interest inside those highly avoided projects on Avalanche. Then after that, gain maturity and to evolve, people will actually be able to get back their end tokens and provide actual USDC on that pool, on that nest. And with that, the project will actually start to raise funds. Okay, so that's the way it's going to work. I don't have time to explain everything here. Obviously, the community will also be able to actually score those projects. So inside the application, there will be like a scoring mechanism based on the team, the roadmap, how innovative is that protocol. It can be GameFi, can be DAO tooling, can be DeFi, and so many other protocols. So that's basically how this feature is going to work. And the cool thing about it is that once the project receives that funding, the token of that early stage project will then be locked inside Colony's smart contracts. And on all those seed and private sale projects, there is vesting schedules, right? So you have a percentage of TGE, you have a cliff, and then maybe like a linear vesting for like 18 or 24 months, let's say. So the community usually is a bit short-sighted, let's face it, right? They want like gains immediately, and that's not possible with early-stage investments. This is why it's a VC game right now, but that will change slowly. So essentially, we are going to introduce liquid vesting. So those tokens of the project that are stuck inside this vesting contract, we're going to create like a derivative token that will mirror what is inside the vesting contract, and people will actually be able to freely trade those tokens. So we're going to call that CE tokens for Colony early tokens, and we will have like a AMM inside Colony, and so liquidity pools, and people will be able to trade their early allocation, their CE tokens for AVAX. So that's the cool thing about it. It's going to be the primary market now. Thanks to Colony, is going to be more transparent. Everyone will have access to the information as long as they are staking CLY, right? And it will become liquid. So you can participate in early stage deals, and you can sell that participation inside Colony to other members. Okay. So that's the cool thing about it. We're very excited about it. The only problem with this sort of feature is that, so I'll come to this after that. Once you have those CE tokens and the project token is actually live on the market, you will be able to go claim on the vesting contract your actual real tokens, right? So let's say there is 10% TGE, you take 10 CE tokens, you send that to the vesting contract, you'll be able to get one real token because it's 10% TGE once again, and those 9 other tokens will actually be locked for like a month. This way, everyone in Colony can claim their TGE allocation. And then that's basically the way it's going to work. And in order to make that sustainable, to have like a lot of projects wanting to launch with Colony, what we're going to introduce is penalty and bonus on that specific mechanism. So essentially, if you are claiming very early your real token, you will then have a penalty fee. This way, it incentivizes people to actually have like this very long-term approach to have the bonus more than the penalty, okay? So then all those projects, they will know that Colony is a long-term player in the Avalanche ecosystem. It's not like some VCs that are dumpers, right? I provide you capital at early stage, and then I dump your token once you're live. With Colony, with those incentives, the project will understand this is a sustainable way to actually launch and to actually get capital and to fund projects. So we believe it's going to be quite an amazing journey. We already have like a huge deal flow. We cannot deploy capital in every one of those projects. And with that, it's going to be up to the community to decide where they want to deploy capital in a very sustainable way for both the community and the project. And we are very excited about this because from the project standpoint, all those founders, they will actually have like the trust of the community very early on, so they will be able to build this community from the get-go inside Colony's application, and they will also be able to mitigate their risk of having like big investors that can dump their token. So that will not happen with Colony, not in the way that it's happening now in the market. So we're very happy about this, and yeah, like we have a booth outside, and we can tell you more about all the details if you are a community member or our project. So that's basically what we're doing, making the ecosystem more transparent at early stage, enable everyone to be part of it, and also provide like a lot more funding for all of those early stage projects that sometimes struggle, with finding the right partners. So now I'm going to talk more about the index. There is another video coming up shortly. So for the index, what I can say is that it's another way for Colony to enable its community to have access to the growth happening on Avalanche. So in that index, the idea is to have all the top market caps of Avalanche, and we're going to factor a lot of other elements into that, like liquidity, and also our own due diligence, because we know that some high market caps sometimes have like questionable founders or team members. Especially, I mean, on Avalanche it's also the case, so we're going to have our own. So yeah, here is the video introducing the index. So what you can do is you can start by scanning this QR code right here. This way you will be able to register your interest. So basically, we're going to launch that quite shortly. We are just finalizing the audit phase for the index. It's going to be the major index on Avalanche. So in that index, you will have assets like AVAX, like Joe from Trader Joe, like Yak from Yield Yak, and some others. And the idea is that over time, each month, we will do our due diligence, and if a project reaches our criteria, to actually be able to have that project inside the index as well. So the index is going to be fully on-chain. The only thing that the team will be doing is actually to add or remove tokens from that index. And we will probably put that to a DAO voting at some point. So we are using Future Finance. So the guys are just right here. And basically, they have this amazing technology that enabled us to do that. And Colony will use, like or reach inside the Avalanche ecosystem to make that possible. So we are very thrilled to work with Future Finance guys to build that. So the way it will work. You'll be able to go on Colony's application. You'll be able to, so there will be two ways actually to have access to CAI. So CAI is the token that will represent the index. So you will be able to mint CAI on Colony's platform and on Future's Finance platform as well. The idea is that you send AVAX to the smart contract, then automatically the smart contract will buy, depending on the weight, all those constituents inside that index. So then you will have exposure to those coins, right, very easily. But it's not stopping right here. What we're going to do also is that each of those tokens, each of those constituents, we will try to find the best way to find the yield behind all of those tokens. So we all know there is a yield behind AVAX. You can find that yield in different ways. You can stake, you can provide liquidity. So we're going to work with Yield Yak. We've been working with Yield Yak for like a year now. They've been very supportive of Colony in the early phase, and now we're using them quite a lot, and we're very happy to work with them. And we're going to work with them on the index as well. So we're going to find the best way to have like single-sided, like pools with Yield Yak to actually bring that yield also to people using the index. So it's not like just passive exposure to like some coins. It's like passive exposure to the major projects on Avalanche and their yield also. So you'll be able to mint that directly by providing AVAX to the smart contract. then you can also redeem from that smart contract. You can redeem AVAX, or you can redeem each of those constituents. Now, there is another way, because when you are actually minting on that smart contract, you receive an LP token called CAI, for Colony Avalanche Ecosystem Index. So that token will enable you to then be able to redeem from that smart contract, but that token will also be traded on Trader Joe and on Pangolin. And we are working with every constituent of that index right now to build the highest liquidity possible on those liquidity pools in Trader Joe and Pangolin. So what will happen is that, for example, on Pangolin, there will be super farm, and those super farm will provide APR on those CAI AVAX pools, and you will earn AVAX, Colony tokens, YAC tokens, and so on. So it's going to be highly incentivized. And then this way, the idea is to have like this very, very liquid token, and people will actually be able to send AVAX on Trader Joe, get those CAI, and actually capture the growth of all of those projects. Why is it good for Colony stakers? Because all the fees that will be taken on that index, I mean, not all the fees, most of the fees will then be redirected back to people stacking CLY. So when you're stacking CLY, you earn all those airdrops, AVAX staking rewards. Now you will also earn fees on that index. And in terms of fees, we want to be very competitive. We want to be the best index on Avalanche. And so there will be like a minting fee, redeem fee, and AUM fee. Minting fee will be 20 basis points. Redeem fee will be 50 basis points, and it will be 1% for the AUM fee. If you register early, you won't have any minting fee, and you will actually collect the minting fee of the people joining the index after you. So that's about it for today. We have a booth under the dome. Happy to meet any one of you and every one of you, and to answer any of your questions. Thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it. Thank you.